What's up, everybody? Thank y'all for joining me with Buzzing with Marlowe live. I'll say it again, live. Happy, man. I hope everybody's doing well. Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. It is Friday, guys. It is time. It has been a crazy week. 2022, man, I think it's been on a really good start so far for Buzzing with Marlowe itself, guys. If you see the little glimpse right now, go on our merch on Bonfire. Check out the Buzzing with Marlowe merch. I am also extending that 15% off code, guys. That's right. Buzz20 gets you 15% off on all merch for Buzzing with Marlowe. Check it out. Also, guys, check us out on Spotify, Apple products. We are now on Apple, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that was crazy, but we are there. Buzzsprout, Podchaser, anywhere you get your podcast, check them out. Also, guys, like and subscribe us on YouTube. Check them out, man. Buzzing with Marlowe. We are now currently at 68 subscribers, ladies and gentlemen. No more than 3 months into this, making that YouTube page, and we are already at almost our milestone, basically. I want to try to get to 100 really soon, but, man, I am appreciative of what we have gotten so far. We're almost at 70, man. That is amazing. All right, guys. Episodes after episodes, you know what we do. We don't pre-plan anything. Most important, guys, we literally, the episode topic is based off of my guest. So, guys, I know y'all are waiting for it, so let's get into it. So, guys, today my guest is Jeff Sidwell. Jeff Sidwell, man, I'm telling you right now, fitness instructor. I mean, just seeing some of the stuff that this man is putting out. I'm looking forward to having this chat with him, guys. This is going to be a really cool chat. But like I said, guys, if you haven't, I'm going to give you a little glimpse right there. This nice little T-shirt right here. Go check it out. Buzz20. I'm extending it out. Maybe 2 more weeks minimum and for 15% off, guys. Check it out. But, guys, I ain't going to say nothing else. So, guys, when we come back, when the countdown starts from 30 to 1, we will be joined with Jeff Sidwell. And the countdown starts right now. All right, guys, I'm joined with Jeff. How you doing, man?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. It's Friday. Can't go wrong. I mean,
Yeah.
What weeks we've had so far, man. So, like, it's crazy. 2022 is here. I feel like changes are happening. We'll see. I mean, it actually looks like we're about to go back to square one, but hey.
Yeah.
But, man, how you doing, man? How you doing?
Good. Congrats on the subscribers, all the success, and I know what that laugh means when you say we finally got it on Apple, because I've had to get product on Amazon, I've had to get product on Etsy or whatever, and people are like, oh, you should just get something on Apple, and you're like, that is a 20-hour project you just suggested. Thanks.
Yes. Oh my gosh, man.
It is more work than what it looks like as far as, oh, just put it on. That took me 3 weeks and like 20 hours because glitches out the wazoo happened. So I know.
Yeah, I mean,
I empathize.
It's crazy, man. Like I've had numerous people going, hey, man, I got Spotify, but I prefer to listen to Apple. I'm like,
right.
You can't just go to Spotify. Like, like you don't realize how hard it is to get freaking Apple product on something that I don't even own an Apple product. That's even a funnier part. I don't own an iPhone or anything. So, like, I was sitting there, I was like, I don't know how to do this. And I was like, I don't know if I can make a product on it or whatever. But luckily, I made an account on Buzzsprout, and it just streams it straight off of that. I was like, thank you. Now, the big task is now we're going to try to get on all those nice little ones. Other than Spotify and stuff like that, I want to try to get on it starts with a P. I can't even remember what it's called. I think it's Paragram, some shit. I can't remember what it's. Pandora.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Pandora, and Challenge accepted. Let's see how long that one lasts.
Right.
That's like literally just write it down for a podcast trip. You're like, literally, what day will this one work? I mean, it took almost a year and a half for Apple, so let's see how long it takes to get on Pandora.
Yeah,
So the
and
challenge
like
accepted.
streaming service that will get you in, because they're like
Yeah.
Android product. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, when I got on iHeartRadio, I was amazed by that one, but I was like, good Lord, like that one didn't seem like that to get on, but everybody was amazed by how did you get on iHeartRadio, blah 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 blah. I'm like, I just streamed and Buzzsprout helped me, I guess. I don't know. And they're like, I can't get on there, blah blah blah. I was like, I guess it ain't for everybody. I don't know.
Right.
But all right, man.
It shouldn't have been product on Amazon, but it took me 3 weeks because of random glitches that no one else I know had experienced.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, man.
It's more of a grind than what people think.
I know. Like the funny thing is when I'm like promoting the episodes, I don't remember all the freaking platforms I'm on. Like I literally just say, here, put this link, the link tree right here.
Right.
Those are the main links. I can't remember every single one. I just say, wherever you get your podcast. Like everybody's like, you're supposed to list every single one. I was like, that is not going to happen. There's no way I'm going to be able to list all that and fit the episode description and everything. There's no way that's going to happen.
Right.
Absolutely not.
Like 5% of your podcast listing the mediums. That's bullshit.
Oh my gosh, man. But all right, Jeff, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. You talking about like a podcast, so I'm pretty sure everybody's got in a mindset like, hey, this is a podcaster we're talking to. So I've been wanting to have an episode like this for a while.
Yeah. So let's see. I'm 38. I live in Boulder, Colorado. My specialty, vocation-wise, is helping people get pain-free and then fit. I blend methodologies. I found that massage therapists by themselves can't get somebody pain-free, and then physical therapists are limited by insurance, so they can't actually treat the real source of the issue. They can only treat the symptom. And then personal trainers, if you're in pain, you start doing, you go in with low back pain, and they're like, oh, do Supermans, which is like a highly compressive back exercise for something that's already fucked up. Are we allowed to swear?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So it's like one compression to a dysfunctional muscle. And so vocationally, I love, my passion. When I was 18, I was like, all right, what do I do for my living, my vocation? And I knew I wanted to help people, and I knew I had a knack for biomechanics and kind of just a different set of eyes for what was going on with somebody's bodies. Gratefully, I've done that for a long time. And then personal level, man, I love life. You saw, my post and a mutual page we're in. It's just like, I've been through some shit. And at the same time, I've worked through it, and life as beautiful as it's ever been, even with, I'm 12 years sober, addiction recovery. My brother passed away from addiction, from alcoholism. I've been through some stuff, and yet like what I love, and even getting people pain-free physically, my secret goal is to help them, reclaim their lives mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Because chronic pain comes, a limited mindset, self-limiting beliefs, and depression a lot of times, anxiety, and you start to see the world and what you can't do as opposed to what you can do. So, I just love life and like what I do. So that's, ask away.
Hey, man, I love the fact how, like you said, hey, for your back pain, you just do Supermans and stuff, man. Like, everybody acts like they know everything. It drives me nuts, man. We can relate really well because I used to do professional wrestling. And one thing that made me quit, I had to step out of wrestling, was injuries. Neck injuries, concussions, stuff like that. So, like, when you talk about depression and stuff, mental health and stuff like that, I was badly. I did not want to give up wrestling at all. And like when I did give up wrestling is when I was at that burnout moment. And literally just like you have a shadow over you, feeling like everyone's against you. There's nothing positive going to happen out of this. There's literally everyone is against you. It's you versus the world type scenario. And that's always how then my mentality's been to like pursue stuff like wrestling and podcasts and stuff is like you having to play that mindset, you against the world.
Yeah.
But when I was in that mix, I was like, oh, everyone's gonna get something good, but I'm the one's gonna get punished. Like that's how I felt. Like you're just sitting there like, man, did I really do all that for bust my tail, do all this just to say I'm done after I thought was a easy bump, and then found out it wasn't. Like where I took the bump, my neck stayed stiff like this.
Yeah.
I felt fine when I got out of the ring and stuff like that, but it was like a normal training day. So I'm thinking like it's just the normal soreness, whatever. So when I took the move right off, I kind of felt a little bit weird, but I hopped right up like no problem.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people question like, hey, it didn't look that bad. But when I drove home, my neck couldn't do this.
It locks up, man.
For 4 days. For 4 days, that freaked me out because I have a mom. My mom actually had herniated disc. Like my mom's got metal from all the way down to her neck. Like literally, she could actually tell you when it's supposed to rain, which is kind of weird. But it's like she's had these neck problems since she was like 16 years old. And I basically took care of her when I was a kid and stuff like that. So when that happened to me, I used to joke with my dad because they like when you start that background, you're like, hey, you have your bump card. I laughed at it. I'm like, all right, I'll just suffer later. Like probably at 40 or 50, I'll probably have trouble walking. But that's the mindset you bring because you're in this training school. You have to have that mentality because you're not going to go in there and like, hey, man, I could probably bump good today or I might break my neck. Just like you don't think that stuff because you're like, if you think it, then it will happen. Like the worst can happen.
Yeah, because
you think about it, and yeah, like literally, it's like, oh man,
super jacked, and you're like, how can this little thing be the end of me? And then all of a sudden, it becomes a bigger issue.
Oh my gosh, man.
Yeah.
When I had to announce it, like all my fans, everything was like, bro, you look great. Like. Yep. How you hurt? Like you could get in the ring today. Like they tell me all the time. Still now, they're like, man, you look like you could still go.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. It's because I'm out of the ring. I'm out of it.
I mean,
but you did say you what's that?
Have you seen Edge recently in the WWE?
Yeah. I know, man. That's another thing. Like that's been getting my behind kicked too. All these guys that had to retire at a neck injury and stuff, and they're like, come on, man. Like, hey, AP could come back eventually. And I even thought about it sometimes. I'm like, hey, well, you know what?
Yeah.
Feel good. I feel like I still want my last farewell type scenario because, I mean, I owe it to the fans and stuff like that. But it's like,
yeah, no, man.
I don't know. I mean, if it's in fan wise, yes, but not wrestling in front of nobody. That could not have happened. Luckily, when I got hurt, that started, and I was just like, okay, maybe that's a sign. I needed to just take a break, whatever. And then when I thought about it again, I'm like, I don't know. We'll see. You never say you're gonna quit something until, like, especially wrestling, because I mean, how many people have actually said, I retire, and then they come back the next 4 years or something like that. So everybody's sitting there going, yeah, Warren, you're coming back. You just don't know it yet. You do whatever. But we'll see. But you did say you went through a lot of depression and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right? And how did you deal with stuff like that? And like what made you to actually want to pursue like what you've been saying, like with back pain and stuff like that? Like did all that experiences that you've had make you want to make sure nobody else has to go through that? Or did you want to really just do that for your longevity standpoint?
You know, again, like my career path and kind of my passion, as I discovered that when I was 18, which was really fortunate, or I was discovering it as 18. A mentor of mine got me connected to a physical therapy clinic, and I interned at a PT clinic for 4 years. That's when I saw the issues with physical therapy, where they can treat the symptom but not the actual source. Because, like, a right shoulder pain can be caused by your left hip, but insurance doesn't pay for that. So if you write insurance saying I worked on his left hip to fix his right shoulder, they're like, cool, you have to charge him your cash rate, $170, because we're not going to cover that because that's in no way related to the shoulder in their opinion. So I knew I had a knack for this. I screwed up my back when I was 18 or 19. And so you've got your hips, and I knocked up a bone at my SI joint up 2.5. And I thought it was just a bone bruise. But 2.5 weeks later, I'm talking to the physical therapist. I'm like, man, this bone bruise isn't going away. And she looked at me, and my right leg was 2.5 inches shorter than my left. And so I tilt. And
wow, at 19?
At 19, yeah. And
holy cow.
Yeah. So, but that taught me the beginning of, life being the best teacher, where my right leg hurt, and I realized I would just tilt the other side. I would take pressure off my right side by tilting to the left. And I would look, mostly normal. But then my left mid-back would start to spasm. And then, the next day I didn't realize it, but I just tilt my shoulders to take pressure off the left mid-back. And then I get tension here. And, I have never gotten headaches in my whole life except for this, where my right low back was causing tension headaches up here. And that just shows the start of how connected your body is. And so that taught me, like, okay, it's got to be broader than just physical therapy or just massage therapy and all that. My methodology is relax the dysfunctional muscle, rewire it to work correctly, and then retrain it, then build strength on it, like the Supermans or whatever you have to do.
All right. Yeah.
People jump the gun and either go to Supermans or they just do massage, but like they never see those long-lasting results.
Gotta go from square A to square B, and don't try to find a shortcut. And that's what people that really messes up wrestling, sports athletes are in really big general, because say, like, if you got a big game coming up, people are thinking, all right, just get the massage. You should be good to play in this game, such and such. But then after that game, they can't play half of another season because they did not go through the procedures. I had that same experience, like how I said with the professional wrestling standpoint. I thought for my 6 years, the reason why my 6-year mark got cut off is basically because I would not do step one all the way to the final product. I would literally go, what makes me get out here faster? What makes me actually get out here to perform more? And like how you said, like how you have like that bone thing and you thought it was just a bruise or a sore or whatever. I thought that was normal. So I was sitting there, I was like, I'll get it treated later. And I kept telling my girlfriend, now is my wife at that time, she was literally was like, you need to take it easy. You need to kind of slow down. You need to probably get that checked, whatever. And I was like, no. If I go to the doctor, they're going to tell me you need to stop wrestling, period. And my wife is one of those ones, if she Googled something and that's how you could catch that, she'll believe every bit of it. Literally, she's one of those people. She's literally one of these, like, oh my gosh, Google just said this, and text me, do we have anything that involves ginger, because it could cause a bad sore throat or something? How'd you find out? Google. Stop. Get off of Google. Like, just stop.
Here's for you on a lot of levels, because
oh my Lord. It's so funny, like, man, like some of the stuff, because I'm like the health guru for my family and stuff like this, because they look at me and they're like, hey, what do I need to do to get in shape? What do I need to do to this? All right. How much soda are you drinking? I gotta have at least 2 to 3 Cokes a day. I'm like, you're not gonna get in shape that way.
Your body hates that.
Oh my gosh, man! Don't you like? Have you ever had an experience where you talk to somebody and they look at you and go, "Hey, man, so how many times have you done steroids and stuff?" I'm like, how? Why? Like, you that's the first thing people think, like, critiquing wise. If you have abs or if you even have muscles, they're thinking first thing, steroids. How long you been on and stuff like that. It's like, this is what the generation we got so far. Like they want to question every little thing and make them feel good. But when they ask you for input on health and stuff like that, then they'll just shoot it down like, nah, I can't do that. I like food too much.
Right.
You can eat whatever you want as long as you put yourself in a calorie deficit and do what you need to do. I don't see a problem as long as you go to the gym or you're moving at least, not eat a long meal and then go straight to bed, like and then wonder, hey, how did I get 10 pounds in a month? Like, oh my god.
People. Oh,
Have you ever had some of them crazy stuff?
yeah. So like first of all, to that point, like people hate me because, and I don't tell many people this, but apparently I'm telling you and your subscribers. But like for 20 plus years, I've had to eat 3,000 to 3,500 calories a day because, you know, we're active, because I'm active. And so, yeah, I can eat whatever I want. You know, 38, you start to check, you know, of course, cholesterol, stuff like that, because, you know, you can't just eat all the time. You know, there's a marathoner back, I think the 70s, that bragged about, you know, eat whatever you want, just run a bunch. And then he died of a heart attack. So like,
Yeah.
so there's some of that. But yeah, when your muscle metabolism is, meaning it doesn't mean bulk, you know, it doesn't mean that you can have long, lean muscles, strength and tone. But when they're active, they're demanding calories to maintain themselves, and fatty tissue requires almost no calories to maintain itself. So yeah, to your, you know, you really do free up what you can't eat if you're active. You know, I hate to say 10,000 steps a day, not a bad baseline. Plus working. That's, you do those two alone, and you're eating, you know, 2,500 calories comfortably, and that includes.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm lean enough. You know, I'm like I'm 6 foot and 175 pounds. So no one's ever asked me if I do steroids. Never been.
Hey man, if you got a straight six pack, sometimes they would ask, man. Like before I even started wrestling, people were like, "Hey man, when'd you start steroid?" Like, come on, man, just because I got a six pack, like, come on, like, gosh, Lee.
Right. We, especially today, we have no value in taking the long road or taking the disciplined road. Everyone's like,
oh my lord.
Up and, you know, or I guess that goes in your ass. That's how inexperienced I am with the steroid. Cleared it up, and
that's a lot of movie analogies right there.
Maybe politely. But yeah, so it you know, it's fun. You know, you find the things that inspire you. As far as, you know, most of my weight training is based on, because I love to rock climb, I love to mountaineer, I love to, you know, different. So like that keeps me, you know, going to the gym, you know, for a long time, you know, meaning like year over year, as opposed to just going to the gym for the sake of the gym. You find that why, you know, I want to be healthy for my family, be able, you know, a role model for my kids. I want to be able to live a full life instead of look at, you know, I'm looking at mountains right over there, and because I'm in Boulder, through my window here, and I'm like, I want to be able to go to the top of that when I would feel like it, and what I have to do to be able to feel equipped. So
yeah, I agree with you, and that's what I tell people numerous times. I was like, I even encourage my wife, because I tell her she gets tired from running around with our 3-year-old. She's like, Warren, I don't know how you do it. Like, it's funny, like when we go to these family gatherings and stuff, and they take their kids to the trampoline park. I'm the only one that really can go out there and hang with them and have fun with them and all the time. They're like, man, I don't know how you got it, how you have all this energy when you're eating like 4,000 calories a day and stuff like that. They're like, that's just ridiculous. Right. I'm like, well, that's what I'm known to. That's what I've been built up to do and stuff like that. You mentioned about rock climbing.
Yeah.
With you living in Colorado, I'm very sure you've probably and stuff like that. What mountain have you not been able to climb?
So there are 58 14ers, meaning mountains that are 14,000 feet or above in Colorado, and I'm trying to pace myself. So I've done 32 of those. And, you know, I'm doing from like the easiest grades up to, I'm in the middle grades now. You know, they go class 1 to class 5. So So it's kind of a matter of time before I do all of them. I am terrified of heights, which really is a pain in the ass when you love to rock climb and mountaineer. So there's one called Capitol Peak in Colorado, and that's got a knife's edge. And that knife's edge, you literally can straddle the top of the mountain and like have to shimmy your way across some of this for about 75 yards because there is death to your right and death to your left if you tip one way or the other. So that's one of the 14ers. I expect myself to do that one last, but you know it's all pretty possible. It's just like it's more like, all right, find your breath, calm in your mind, and then just, you know, one movement at a time, and you know, you're okay. But then rock climbing, like, so that's more mountaineer, and rock climbing itself is, you know, you've got the harness on, you've got the rope, and you are looking at, you know, a difficult grade, and the right layer, the right person, you know, spotting you, you can do most things. It's just developing your skill set. So that's a little bit of head too, but not as bad as some of the peer exposure.
I give you props because like I've actually done hiking, and my in-law family, they freaking love hiking. Like when we had a hurricane coming in Florida or whatever, so we evacuated and went all the way out in Georgia.
Yeah.
The main reason why they wanted to go to Georgia so they can go hiking. So the first day we got there, they were like, "Hey Warren, we want you to go hiking." And I was like, "You know what? I'll go out. Let me try it." Well, needless to say, I didn't know we were hiking 2 mountains that freaking day. I was sitting there, I was like, holy cow. Like, you just don't know how time consuming that is. Like, literally, how long it is to hike up a mountain and stuff. And I mean, it's a beautiful thing, but I was just like, holy moly. And she's like, and then my mother-in-law, she was like, "You want to go again?" I'm like, no. No. That's like almost 4 hours up and 4 hours down.
Right. Yeah, no.
One thing is just so scary is how it goes down. Like when you going up is easier, but when you having to go down, you're like having to make sure you're pacing yourself to slowly walk down. So it's just like, oh my gosh, I give people props if y'all climbing that. I mean, maybe I'll go to a gym, maybe do like the indoor rock climbing, but outdoors, y'all. Outdoors, y'all.
That's insane. When you see a rock climber, we've got like 40 pieces of metal gear like hanging off of our,
yeah.
And then we've got this, you know, 70-meter rope. And so even just like the barrier to entry of like, I could never do that because it just looks so complicated. But then once okay, it's not as complicated as what you think. You just get the right people around you. But yeah, the 14ers, we have to get out to the base of the 14er, you know, around 10,000 feet at 2 or 3 a.m. to summit by because you need to summit by 11 noon latest a lot of times, because then thunderstorms come in, light, and you don't want to be the highest point of a high mountain on a thunderstorm.
Right.
You know, it's early start, bust your ass up to the top of the mountain, and then make sure you only enjoy
jet it down, jet it back down.
For about 20 minutes before you got to go back down.
Yeah.
So
you have to pick a certain time zone to like a time limit to basically from start to finish to do rock climbing stuff like that.
To do hiking up a very high mountain for sure. Anything above tree line, you have to start early and summit by noon.
Right.
And summit by 2, but you're really starting to roll the dice, because even if the forecast says you're clear, like says no rain's coming in, up at 14,000 feet, it doesn't mean anything. So, you know,
yeah, exactly.
The rule of thumb is get there no later than noon. That's why I say 11, because I never want to like get comfortable with pushing the limits, but like get there no later by noon, hang out for 20 minutes at the summit, enjoy the view, and then go back down. You know, get back down.
It's so crazy. It's like a very minimal moment when you finally get up to that top, and it's just like you're looking down, you're like, oh shit. Get my picture, and we gotta go back down.
Better love nature, and you better love a fitness challenge, or else you're just gonna be miserable.
That's like I think the best example would probably be like how seafood is like with lobster and shit like that. It takes so long to get that thing to actually where you want to eat it. And it is like a little bit of meat on it. And I'm just sitting there like, what was the point of all that? Like that little bit right there is what y'all pleased on and trying to
Right.
break this all up and you're hearing all this crunching and stuff just to get a little bite of it. I think that would be the best example for rock climbing because I remember when I went hiking, they were so adamant on time limit. Like, hey, wake up, we're going.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, yep. Go get our coffees, get ready to go up that hill. Needless to say, I'll never have coffee with creamer again when I'm hiking again. That was no. no. That was my very first time actually hiking, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like. They were like, man, I thought you could handle this or something. I was like, and then I would have to like act the tough guy. I'm like, right. I'm all right.
Just sweat. Got cold chills.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I'm cool.
I had all dry fit on. I'm still like drenched in sweat, like completely covered in sweat. I was just like, all right, I won't discredit this no more. Y'all got this.
Yeah. Well,
I'd pick a treadmill over this.
And it's different body types. Like, again, like no one's ever accused me of taking steroids, but they've accused you. It's like, you're like my buddy Adam, who literally has been the Incredible Hulk for Halloween and looks the part pretty much. You know, it's like, that could be Bruce Banner right there. But like does great with more endurance-based things, and your body's probably more power-based. So you ask your body, especially without a lot of hiking experience, to go do 2 mountains in a day, and it's just going to go like that to you for a long time. So
I was a little skeptical when she first named one called Bloody Mountain. I was just like, what the fuck y'all gonna do? Leave me up there? Like, what's going on?
I mean, back from this mountain.
I'm like, what? Why is this name Bloody Mountain? What are we doing?
That's creepy. There are no mountains. People die on 1 or 2 of them every year. There are no mountains in Colorado named Bloody Mountain for just help our mindset. That's a trip.
Hey, I guess that's encouraging for y'all too, because I remember when she sat there and told me, she was like, we went up this real high one. And she's like, well, this one's a little bit lower and stuff like that, but it's called Bloody Mountain. I'm like, this is like a scene from a haunted film. Like, what are we about to do? Is Jason, am I about to meet him or something?
You got to wonder how good of terms you are on with your in-laws. You know, you got to start.
No. I had to make sure I was really good then, right?
Did I call her fat? You know, so
I know. It's like, did I upset her? All right, man. Linda, you're good. You know what? You want me to take a selfie? Take 5. Let's go. Let's take 5 selfies right now before we even start.
That's the time. We look happy enough.
All right.
Yeah. What's up?
All right, Jeff. So tell me a little bit about what made you actually start going into the podcasting world, because what made me start going into the podcasting world was COVID. And needless to say, pre-recorded stuff was way overdone. You couldn't really. I got tired of watching over-recorded stuff, so I was like, you know what? I woke up one morning. One thing that connected me with wrestling and stuff when I first started was podcasts, and I would listen to Bruce Pritchard, Chris Jericho, a great example, Stone Cold. I mean, when I realized Stone Cold could make a podcast, I was like, there's no way nobody could not be able to make a podcast, because he's so bland with his character and stuff like that. So it just did not fit for him. But when you listen to him, I'm like, he's literally Stone Cold on the podcast. And one cool thing that I noticed with it was it wasn't just strictly about wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, it was everything. And I was just like, okay. And then I saw this app called Anchor, and it was like, hey, you could try this out for free, and you could possibly get money made from just making episodes. And I thought about it. I even talked to my wife about it. I even talked about some other guys, and they pitched the idea. It was like, hey, you got out of wrestling 6 years. To me, that's early. People might think that's a long time or whatever, but to me, that's early. And some of the guys were like, hey, you had really good knowledge. You were really successful for what you gave out to it. People would listen to you. They would want to know what your input is on wrestling stuff. So I thought about just doing it to help the guys that are in the indies and stuff like that still get exposure and stuff because COVID happened, nothing's happening. And
Right.
my friends are not making their money that their job is wrestling.
Yeah.
So I thought of, you know what? I'm gonna make a podcast and stuff like this, but I needed to do an about me. I literally woke up one morning and was just like, you know what? I'm gonna hit record and let's see what happens.
Exactly.
And I did a whole recording about myself, just talk about everything, my favorite sport, everything, just to let people know who I am. And instead of like going 20 minutes or 15 minutes, I went an hour and I hit published over 100 plays in not even a week. And I was just like, oh shit, now I got something to do. It's like, oh, now I got to keep going. And needless to say, I got burned out from just talking to myself because I sat there and was like, how am I going an hour talking to myself? Like you really having a question, you're answering it all in one. It's just like it's not normal.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? I'm making it to where we're gonna have guests and we're gonna have topics. We'll talk about anything and everything, and that's how Buzzing with Marlowe started.
Yeah. And like there, like even especially with wellness, it's a complete thing. It's mind, body, emotion, spirit. And so, how can you really kind of pigeonhole into one thing? And you know, I've got clients where, you know, I call it the cry session. It's usually session 5 or 6 where somebody who's been in chronic pain for 5, 10, 15 years. And the first few sessions, you know, I share about myself. I'm an open book, as you know, like I post, you know, recovering alcoholic, all this stuff, because to help one person, I'm happy to share it type of thing. And
exactly.
So the first few sessions, I'm establishing trust and credibility. You know, I'm sharing some things about myself so they know, like, I'm not just trying to find out about their dirty laundry. I'm just talk human to human, you know?
Exactly.
And around session 5, you know, the results up until session 5, if they've had pain for 5+ years, you know, the results are, you know, here. And then I'm like, so what's really going on? And it's husband, it's depressed kid, it's, you know, anxiety, you know, ridden selves. It's something behind there's always a mental, emotional, spiritual issue behind advanced chronic pain that's been around for a while. And so they, you know, they break down and their body releases this energy, this central nervous system energy that they've been holding on to for so long, making them tense and exacerbating their issues, that after that, the results, you know, start to skyrocket. And within times, you know, and you know, if you have chronic pain for 20 years, it will take me 20 sessions to fix it. If it takes me 10 sessions. Caveat being, something's like bone. Like there are times when surgery is just needed, but past that, you know, be fixed relatively quickly. And so to your point, it's just like, shoot the shit about life. Like, you know, it's like none of us, you know, are just one dimensional. So how can you be a good interviewer, a good podcaster of sorts, and really get people to start rambling like myself right now and like get these like, oh, like that's interesting. Tell me more about that. It's you know, it's an art. It takes you know, a skill for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I like how you were talking about like with chronic pain stuff like that. So like, how long does your sessions usually go? Do they go no more than 30 minutes? Sometimes, believe it or not, dude, some of them actually say they only go 15 minutes because it is just painful.
Yeah.
And I remember when I had my first experience at a chiropractor. Oh my gosh. So I had got a major rib on me because I thought it was just a normal massage. So I was looking forward to it. I did this before I had to wrestle that night. And I had and it was a title match, and it was like it was basically almost like a ladder match. And it was called a title on the pole match. And I was like, man, I am going to feel anything and everything in this match. And they were like, man, you need to go to a chiropractor. And I was like, what's a chiropractor? They're like, it's a massage therapist, man. You just go and get a massage. You feel good, blah, blah, blah. Man, I got there. The lady sat there and smiled at me because I'm thinking, okay, she's probably going to be the one giving me a massage, and I'm okay.
Yeah.
No, no.
Get your own form of people dropping elbows on you.
I was so pissed when I got in there. I was like, well, shit, I didn't know I was wrestling twice tonight.
Right.
I got bent over. My back I hear pops every single way. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know I had that type of pop in my back.
Right.
Like, it was so painful. I literally was like tapping out, like almost at the 7-minute mark. I was just like, I'm done. I can't do it. I'm done.
Becomes a hostage.
Oh my gosh, it was so painful. Oh.
So that has value, but like I said, like I've even had somebody's calves cause their low back pain. So calves down in your shin, your feet. I had a client.
Yeah.
She was getting 80% better. She came in chronic pain head to toe. She was 80% better on everything. Her low back pain was mostly better, but not quite. And I was like, what am I missing? And I was 23 at the time. So I was like 2 years into my career. I started when I was 21. And I touched her calf because she was lying on the massage table. I touched her calf and I was like, that's a cinder block. And so I had to work on her calf. And that was the last piece to release her low back. A lot of people will just, again, go to the symptom and throw an elbow in it and be like, you got to grin and bear this because that's what's going to fix you. When really, it's like, talk about neck pain. It's like your pec let me show this real quick. Your pec can be tight enough to pull you forward. And when your shoulder goes forward, your trap goes into chronic flexion. And when you're trapped in flexion, you're trying to have good posture by pulling your head back. But this is pushed forward, and your head just says, well, I have space if I go here. And then how many people walk around with their head jutting forward, and it all starts at their pec. And so a lot of times I need to dig into a pec and cause excruciating pain, but I need to work some of the pec out and flexes back, and then the shoulder drops back, and that takes some of the chronic tension out of the trap. And that relaxes the trap before I even get there by 30% or so. And so then when I get to the trap, it's not nearly as sore as what it would have been if I'd gone there first. And then if I release the trap, I can release the neck without even touching the neck, another 20, 30%. And so it doesn't have to be this no pain, no gain mentality. It just has to be methodical and looking at all the connection pieces causing, symptom and source. And then I also, it's like once in a while there will be moments where I have to just dig into the muscle because that's what it takes. Being a recovering alcoholic, I never had an intervention on myself because I always, nobody really knew that I was drinking as much as I drank down at college and then a little bit afterwards. But I say for
Colorado, man, it's Colorado. That much. I've had my brother. He used to be stationed out there. He was like, man, there wasn't really much in Colorado, so it was either you were drinking or you partying or something. Like it was just like those two lifestyles.
Well, now weed's legal here, but not everybody's high out here like people think because we legalized marijuana before. But I went to school at IU in a university, which is a top 10 party school every year. I had my fun, but I say really jacked up muscles, the actual source, or symptom might just need intervention, which is that kind of push an elbow into that really muscle. And really, you got to inflict a little pain when it needs intervention. It's like, all right, I've got to dig in, breathe through it. Please don't leave at the 7-minute mark. And
gotta go through it. You gotta do it. Grunt the teeth. Do what you gotta do.
And then next time, if I did my job right, it won't be as painful when I press on that muscle. But first time or two can be, make you jump through the roof.
Oh my goodness. I love how you were talking about with your neck and stuff like that. What helped me realize what the body parts, how everything focuses. Think of a lat pull down. When you're pulling it down, you're working your back, but you're also strengthening your neck in a way because you're having to pull your neck forward to pull that bar right across or something like that. Even when you do the little short bar, something like that, you're having to move your whole body. and that's why your back looks so straight, stiff. And I tell people, and that when I was a personal trainer at the time and stuff, I told them, if your back is not straight like this, you're not doing a lat pull down.
Yeah.
You're not doing a lat pull down. You're not doing it right. Mm-hmm. And they were like, "What you mean?" I say, "Well, if you're slumped like this,
yes."
And I've seen people like that. I'm like, how are you walking like this? Like, well, I got a back problem. You don't try to fix it. Like, you're like this. Like, you look fragile this way.
Right.
And that would be the first thing I would teach them how to do is just do this. If anything, if you have so much problem with the bar, I would just do it with resistant bands. Do that every night or something like that to strengthen that, to sit that straight up.
Yep.
And it's, oh my gosh, it just amazes me what people do and what they believe works. And it's just like,
yeah. And I have trouble working out at main gym. So my studio is in my house, like right on the other side.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw you posting something about that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and so it's one-on-one. There's no distractions, like no self-consciousness, none of that stuff. But I have working out at gyms because you see everybody doing it wrong, and oh
my gosh,
the one thing, if I was to give one piece of advice, it's like, what are you trying to work? And at the end of that exercise or midway through that exercise, did you feel that actually work? Because people are doing pull-ups.
It's just a laugh. It's just a laugh because literally the mindset that people have, they see these celebrities and stuff like that. They could even see me and you in a way, be like, I want their six pack, but I don't want to lift weights. Right. Like, well, how are you gonna do that? How are you gonna get there? Like, what are you gonna do? Or the best one is the flavor of the month celebrity guy. So where were we at? The Aquaman look. That was the most memorable one. Everybody's like, I wanted to look like Aquaman. And then they were like, well, he don't even look that big now. So, I mean, I think we're doing okay. So we're fine. I'm just sitting there like, man, if that's y'all's motivation to go to the gym, then don't ever go. Like, that's just
it's not
absurd in ways. Absurd.
Right. It's not
I'm a big rock fan, but I'm not going to be 270 pounds. Like, my body stature at 5'8", that will look like I'm completely fat if I'm 270 pounds.
Like, not being realistic. And Aqua is like, what it takes to get there. Like, the Rock's diet is insane, and he's working out from like 12
oh my gosh,
3 a.m. And he gets paid millions of dollars a year to do that.
I can't eat as much fish as he eats. That's just, oh my gosh.
Right.
I've been done at 2 tilapias. I couldn't do anything else after that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I rarely ate fish as it is, so it's just like cod, and I'm like, dude, how much are you literally telling somebody to throw a net in the ocean and just grab all your meals for the week? Like, what in the world?
Right. How does the word? Like, none of those are flavorful. Like, I don't enjoy any of those.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, all right, I get it. It's a lean protein, but I'm like, bro, you don't want to eat a chicken or a steak? Like, what in the world?
Exactly. No.
I'm like, after my second fish, I'd be like, well, I might be cleaning out the ocean. Like, I need to stop.
Yeah. For anybody.
Oh my goodness.
No, it's like, it's like, and that's too, like, it's again, most things come from, it's got to be intrinsic motivation. So a client says they want to be pain-free. I'm like, cool. What are you willing to do to get that? And they're like, oh shit, you're not just going to do it for me? I'm like, your part? Because like there are
oh my Lord,
if I remember correctly, 168 hours in the week, and you see me for 45 minutes to an hour for rehab. What you do in between those sessions, like in those other 166 hours, so it's like, are you doing some of the exercises and stretches I give you, or are you just going back to the couch and like this and like not practicing the things that you need to do to actually create change that you want to see. So all of it comes down to like, I tell my clients to start their day with 2 glasses of water before anything else, because that gives you a more natural energy. Your body is your most dehydrated first thing in the morning when you wake up.
Yep.
get get water in you right away. And then as soon as you feel some of that natural energy, everybody comes back. They're like, what else can I do? I'm like, maybe add a banana, like eat a piece of fruit, eat some. They're like, okay, I ate spinach for feel better. What else can I do? I'm like, now we're rolling. Like now we're getting that to like
The train's moving finally.
motivation instead of Men's Health sending you, a copy of Aquaman on the cover, and you're like, oh sure, I want to do that, and like do a bunch of like He-Man exercises that don't.
Aquaman drinks beer. I'm doing good.
So yeah,
Lord have mercy.
And that's why my company's called Next Step. It's like, instead of there's a great comedian that's like, all right, and he's got a little bit of a belly and all this. He's like, I want to get in shape. Why don't I check out what the Navy SEALs are doing? It's like, you've got 30 pounds.
Don't recommend that.
And then, he's looking at TRX, like people doing Navy SEAL TRX off the like front of a fighter jet, and stuff like that. It's
yep.
Like, start. If you're ready for addition and subtraction, like start there. Like don't start at calculus because you're going to fail. And there's no shame in it.
Exactly.
You focused on your career or your family or whatever it might be for a long time. But like your health got away from you. So like there's no shame in it. You just were doing other things. You want to bring it back to health and wellness, especially this pandemic. And it's like, all right, start there. Start with addition, subtraction, and then, progress a step at a time until you get.
Work your way up. Yep.
Like I have clients that hike 14ers with me who are 60, 65, and they said, oh, I could never do that. And I'm like, bullshit, give me 6 months and we'll get you to the top of the mountain. And so I get them foundationally strong and I get them in the right place with flexibility and pain-free. And then they summit a 14er with me. One of their best, like biggest joys of like, whoa, I did something I never thought I could do. And they bring, Fritz in particular, he brings his now 21-year-old son with him. And so I've summited 3 14ers with both Fritz and his son. And to see that like father, son connection where the son's like, that wasn't easy. My dad just did that. Like, that's impressive. Like that's a moment of like more bonding because he was able to take it on. He was able to do things methodically and then actually successfully reach his goal. So I don't know. I like what I do, if you can't tell.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, that's one thing I tell people. Literally, you don't. It's so entertaining. I love a challenge. That's the big thing for me. I love always knowing that, hey, I don't know everything. And then sometimes that drives me nuts, too, because I'm like, as much knowledge I have, like, I sit there and look at these celebrities on TV and stuff. I'm like, I'm not that far from them. Like I do what they're doing, except I'm just on a lower budget.
Right.
And when I hear people talk about, well, I just don't have the time to eat that much and stuff like that, but you can sit there and eat burgers and all that, which when we talked about like you want to meal prep and stuff, like when you get older, like you got to start realizing you got to change some things. Well, I used to be popular for being on Snapchat and social media, basically saying, hey, I can eat 2 burgers and still look this good too. Like that part was going. Now I'm at 30 and I'm like, oh shit, that burger ain't gonna work today. It's like, oh damn, if I don't want to be on this treadmill today, I better do not eat this. Like, just no. Like I'll do it like if I still have calories and stuff like that, but it's just like I'm trying to literally go a little bit more stricter. Like I used to tell people all the time, I don't diet like everybody says. I do like a macro count. I do like where my nutrients need to be, how much calories I need to have, how much protein I need to have, and obviously your carbs. Instead of bread and stuff like that, you want to kind of up it up with vegetables and stuff like that. Be a little creative.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I do like about the knowledge that I got now with the dieting and stuff like that now is just because now it's like, okay, now I got to kind of be what I told people I don't want to be. But if I want the results, screw the pride. I need to do what I need to do to get there. And it's just, and I tell people numerously, the number one thing for you to actually say that you want that change, and they're like, what? I got to work out? No, just show up. Because if you show up, you're not going to go there and be like, no, I ain't doing this.
Right.
Because 9 times out of 10, you've already paid money to go do this thing. So you're just like, yeah, I ain't wasting money. It's kind of like with your food and stuff. You don't want to like, oh, I want to slow down, put it back later. And like, no, I bought this. I'm going to eat it.
Yeah.
So I tell people numerous times, if you just show up, I guarantee you'll see something. Don't go in there, lift two curls and be like, all right,
Right.
why my bicep growing?
That'll do it.
What's wrong with this machine?
Right.
Why is this not working? Like, what's going on here?
Yep.
And you'd be amazed how many people do that. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Oh yeah.
I had to get out of the personal training background a little bit because it got way too obnoxious for a little bit. When you talk about mental health, you get tested on that job.
Oh God, for so many reasons. It's
Oh my goodness.
It's
Oh.
I had a client tell me once, he came in and he's like, yeah, it was after our first session back after he took about 4 months off while he was traveling. And so our second session back, he's like, what do you think the ratio should be for like you talking versus me talking? And like, I would hope like 70-30 just because, yeah, it's client focused, but also I'd like to feel like a human, like was the implication. Like, I think that's right, but my mind really says 85-15. And I'm like, I see you twice a week, every week, for an hour at a time, and you want to just come verbally dump on me, have me
85.
Interesting, yeah, wow, cool, and then leave? We've been working together for 3 years, and like that's what your mind says is like homeostasis. I was like, so talking about mental health, it's just like, what was that? It's like, who? I was great acknowledging that he did right, but to know that
it's like, where all this work come from? Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. So, all right, like I'm a human being, and I fit in our dialogue instead of just be verbally dumped on for an hour. So it was
Exactly
eye-opening, and it's like, yeah, like that challenge. Like I was, clearly I'm still like rattled by it because it's like, how? Like,
tell that person don't start a podcast.
Yeah. Or just have a one-man show for a podcast, but no.
Exactly. For 85-15, my goodness, you ain't put nobody over.
That was.
Oh my goodness, I can already see the like you have like that Scooby-Doo moment going, huh?
Right.
Like what?
I started like a list of like what words were acceptable for me to say, which was probably like, yeah, yeah, interesting, tell me more. It was like
that's where you're literally just putting the elbow in his back. Oh, I'm sorry, I get my 5. We're on 5.
I'm sorry. Okay. So yeah.
How's that neck? Let's get that too. Oh my gosh, 85-15. Holy moly.
Yeah.
Oh man. And you worked with him for 3 years?
Yeah, and that was like he'd gone to Baja for the winter and came back. This is after like year 2 of working with him. And like first session, like we caught up and it was probably 50-50, which I didn't know was a cardinal sin. And and then session 2, he's like, what do you think the ratio? I'm like, Jesus.
That's like well, you just got like write a time limit of how many words you could say.
Right.
Oh shit, I'm at 10. Right. I don't know if I can even tell you bye.
Right. Yeah, man. So the service industry is, talking about personal trainer, mental health. It's like, or I've got that's always asking me for advice, which is okay, but then they cite 4, like kind of like your wife, like cite 4 other Google sites. And I'm like, if you thought you were right the whole time, why did you even ask me the question? Like, why did you
just to question it?
Right. Like, why did you go on soliloquy of like 17 years of experience and 25,000 hours of clients and all this, just to say, well, Google told me this, like, and then Google also told me something different over here. Like, I'm like, all right, I don't know. Stop asking me questions.
It's just like you want our input, but you gonna say that. So it's like literally, it's just like
Right.
maybe I don't need to give you a reason. I don't know.
Right.
Like those drive me nuts more than anything because they just want to prove that they want to know in their mindset like they can prove you wrong without even having any knowledge to it, and you're just like
Right.
challenge accepted.
Right.
You're about to blow Google up today.
Got so many
That's crazy.
the homework. Yeah.
Oh my lord.
So rewarding. And
People just don't realize it, man. They just, oh my gosh. Or I think the best one is like women. This is a great example. I want to get in shape,
Mhm.
but I don't want to look bulky.
Right. Right. Right.
Like, you do know that's 100% impossible to possibly do.
Yeah.
You don't have the calorie deficit enough to do that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you're doing, what body frame, whatever.
Right.
You start lifting weights is what's going to help you lose weight, help you tone yourself, help you perform wise and everything. And I mean, I've had numerous clients go, I think I'm getting bulky. Like I went on the scale and I gained 2 pounds.
Mm.
That's muscle. That's not fat.
Right.
So what's the point of me lifting weights if I'm gaining weight?
It's competition important.
You can't win. You just can't win.
Going to look better, you know, results you want, but
Oh my lord.
yeah.
It's a funny. Sometimes I gotta laugh at it because I was just like, I just look at him like, oh no, you gained 2 pounds, but that's in your legs, not your butt or anything like that, and they'll just freak out. Why are my legs getting bigger?
Because we acted really nuanced
Oh my
for
lord.
the last 2 weeks, and they got a little bit stronger. But that doesn't mean you're like walking around like the Hulk.
Exactly. It's like some of them would be like, I feel so good today. Like I feel more energetic. And the funny thing is, all I'm drinking is water. Like I didn't know water had caffeine in it. I'm like,
Right. You know, here's water. Water carries oxygen to your cells. You know, it's like the more the more hydrated your is, the more oxygen and healthy nutrients and everything you're going to get to your cells. And so when you start drinking water, it's like, for a long time, people who are dehydrated, it's like showing up to work and you don't have a keyboard. You have your computer, but you don't have, or you've got, a pad of paper, but you don't have a pen. And it's like you give yourself the right nutrients and the right hydration, and you're like, oh, body actually feels pretty good. And it's like, yeah, your body.
oh my lord. It's so funny. Like I tell people like start your morning with water.
Yeah.
Before you eat or anything, start your morning with a half a glass of water.
Yeah.
Room temperature. And that's one thing I had to learn because I used to pick on my teacher. Shout out to my teacher, Miss Amos. She would drink these smart bottle waters, and I mean they're room temperature water. I was like, that's a waste of the smart water. Like I used to, when I was younger, like smart water, oh my gosh, super cold smart water, like it just tastes a lot different to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, why do you drink at room temperature? She's like, you understand when you get older. And now she's right. Miss Amos, you were right. You were right. You were right.
Right.
Like I can't even drink super cold water because it's like it just like freezes up in my throat or something. It's like literally if I start like drinking a soda, it just feels like it's burning down my throat because I'm not used to it anymore. So it's like, oh my gosh, like was that even worth even trying to drink? Like I didn't need that type of burn in my throat.
Right.
So literally I was just like, you know what? Water it is. Yeah. Water it is.
That's the most interesting thing to me. And again, like I've always had this dilemma of like having to eat a bunch of calories, and if I run behind on those calories, like do I order Chipotle? Do I order something like fast food, whatever? Like just making food from home, and then the first time I actually like, okay, I have to order Chipotle. The amount of sodium I taste that I never recognized when I was in a rhythm of eating fast food, the amount of sodium first time back is just eye opening for like, how is my body putting up with this? It's like you didn't notice, like you it's an acquired taste, like you acclimate to it of sorts. If you're in a regular cycle of like fast food or unhealthy stuff, as soon as you detox for 2 weeks on it, like when I go back, I'm like, this is awful for me. Unbelievable.
It's amazing. Like I have a great perspective on that too, because I mean I do Chipotle.
Yeah.
Like these are my fast food restaurants: Chipotle, Panda Express, and maybe Taco Bell. Like those would be like my cheat meal days. Like I would pick one of those three, or Firehouse, which we all know that's not great for you at all because that's just carb central. So like literally, those are my cheat meals, and literally it just amazes me like how much sweeter the chicken tastes,
Yeah.
the saltiness out of it. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
I could have saved $11.
Yeah.
All I had to do was just make another chicken in the air fryer or in the oven. Like,
Right.
why did I get this? Like, why?
Yep.
Which it's just like, you know what? I'm sticking to clean eating. If I'm gonna clean eat, I gotta eat at home. And that's one thing that's rough sometimes when you do that dieting routine is people think, oh, you gotta just buy all of that every single time. But then when that week ends and you're just like, oh shit, I don't have a meal.
Starving and I'm DoorDash, whatever.
My Tupperwares ain't done yet. What's going on here?
Yep.
Oh my lord.
Yep.
I've had that numerous times, and I think that's what, like how you just said Chipotle, and I had it one day, and I was like, no,
Right.
never again.
Right.
Never again. Oh my gosh.
No.
I felt so bad after it. I was like, was that even worth the money that I just spent on this? Like, oh man, I was so mad. I was just like, there we go.
Yep.
I'm going back. I'm going to Publix right now and go buy the damn chicken instead of me just buying something that's made for me. Like that's a good metaphor because we all want something that's done for us. And we just like want to follow on for that ride. And like how we just said about Chipotle and stuff, like we want it made for us. It's better. It's easier to buy something that's made, but you could spend that same amount and buy your meals for the week.
Right. Exactly.
And
yep.
And I've gotten that visuality now is because it's like, shit, you know how much money I'm saving now because I'm not paying for Chipotle and stuff like that. I'm literally just buying bags of chicken.
Yeah.
A whole tub of broccoli. I mean, rice. My gosh, I got like 2 or 3 big bags of rice. Like, just boil that sucker up. I don't even bother even no more. Just dump the whole bag in there. Right. You're covered for like 2 weeks with rice. Right. You might get sick of rice by that 2 weeks is over, though. Right. It's like, man, if I think of rice again, I'm throwing this shit out the window.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Rice is
That's crazy, man. So like, what's up?
Oh, just rice. Like nothing fills up except for rice. Like I can eat a large pizza and be like, all right, yeah, this qualifies as full. I can eat, you know, some amount of.
Isn't
rice.
That crazy?
Yeah, rice is like the great equalizer for me. So I try to incorporate that more because it saves me time and money.
All right, man. We're winding down now. Tell us, man, Jeff. What is a cheat meal for you? So say like when you do like a good eating routine and stuff like that. What is your celebration meal that you do for a cheat meal?
Large pizza. Pizza.
Is there a particular one?
Dude, I can rarely get away from just pepperoni, but then it's pepperoni and sausage, or don't judge me, pepperoni and pineapple. If you've never done that, it's the best combination.
Pepperoni and pineapple. I haven't heard that one yet.
Yeah, I don't like
that two comparisons.
Yeah, I don't like ham and pineapple, but pepperoni and pineapple is like the perfect salty sweet.
Really?
Yeah. Next time, man, just try. Man. Pizza, just
pepperoni and pineapple.
Yep, and just tell me I'm wrong.
Oh man, we might have to go live for that one. Pepperoni pineapple chat.
Well, cheers from 79 with our.
We're gonna lose subscribers now from that one.
Be pissed off because we can't do that, you know.
Oh, screw you guys. The Pizza Boys.
New podcast.
That's great, man. That's neat. I would have to try that one out. Pepperoni and pineapple. I
Yeah,
didn't think those two would be a comparison together, but
you
all
wouldn't think.
right. Challenge accepted. Why
Yeah,
not? We'll try it out.
get back to me. Let me know. But yeah, thank you for your time.
Absolutely, man.
Great.
Oh, no problem, man. Jeff, I appreciate you doing this, man. Is there any last minute plugs that you want to do? Also, guys, the links are going to be below on everything that Jeff is doing regarding his massaging, basically taking care of your body, man. Like, if y'all got anything out of this episode, even though we've been having good chats about like some experiences we've had, um, your body is like a car.
Mm-hmm.
You have to work it from square A all the way down to Z.
Mm-hmm.
Don't cheat it. Don't try to get it any faster or whatever. Do it that time length, and it all pays off in the end.
Yeah.
But Jeff, you got any last minute plugs, bro? This was absolutely great.
Yeah. Yeah, if you don't mind, man. www.nextstep.fit. .fit, not .com. And talking about being self-employed, I clicked edit on one of my pages and it deleted the whole page. The rest of it looks.
Oh my gosh.
So, and like it was not recoverable, any of that stuff. But the rest of it's great. The rest of it has good content. But reach out to me if any of what I said makes sense to the contact page, and then I'll connect you with some of the offerings I have. I've got 80% of pain can be fixed on your own. So I have an online program that fixes carpal tunnel, tension headaches, low back pain, knee pain, all that. And then I have a get fit section teaching you the right ways to methodically get fit so that you can do whatever you want. You can hike the 14er, pick up any sport you want to pick up. It's just you want your body to be in the right place. So Nextstep.fit, check it out. I'll have a book coming out in a few months, so maybe we'll reconvene when that publishes. But yeah, thank you guys. I time is the most important currency, and so I appreciate your time, your viewers' time, and this was fun, man.
Hey man, I appreciate it, man. This was absolutely good. We might have to come back on and maybe give like a little critique about the pizza choice. Like that'd be pretty interesting. I'm still a little edgy on it because everybody's freaking out about pineapple on pizza, like pepperoni and pineapple. That's just that sounds pretty neat. I definitely will have to plan that one out.
That's the secret. Everything sucks with pineapple as far as pizza goes. That is the one that is amazing.
That's the one, folks. If you want pineapple on pizza, you got to eat it with pepperoni. You heard it from us first. There you go. But yeah, Jeff, I appreciate this, man. This was absolutely a blast, man. Also, guys, like I said, the links will be below. Check them out. Check out Jeff's work, man. I will actually start looking at some of the researching on some stuff too. And I will probably be one of the examples for him because, man, as much of an athlete I am, my body has took a beating in the past. So literally, you do have to take care of yourself. Like that's one thing I learned when I got out of the sport of professional wrestling is learning how to be patient. That was a big problem. Like I used to always be like, hey, what I can do now to get myself there. But man, just telling you, like, it's so much better to get up out of bed now, knowing that I'm not sore all the time and stuff like that. And sometimes it takes me about 30 minutes just to get up because it's like, gotta stretch it out, get my body moving. You gotta stretch the rubber band out to get it loose again.
Hydrate it,
but yeah. But yeah, guys.
I will say one more thing, and I know we got to go. We're really good at doing the action. You're really good at getting pounding on something, but we're really bad at treating the reaction. So, people will go for an hour-long run and stretch for 30 seconds, and that ratio is way off. So anytime you're doing a workout, think about, okay, I have an hour. I'm going to do 45-minute workout and 15-minute stretching come hell or high water. I'm not going to compromise. Kind of that 3-to-1 ratio because we do the action, but we don't treat the reaction to our body, and we get injured. So,
absolutely, man. All right, guys, I appreciate everybody enjoying this, man. And Jeff, I hope you have a great rest of your day, man. This was an absolute blast, man.
Enjoy. See you guys.
All right, man. All right, later. All right, guys. I want to appreciate Jeff Sidwell once again for coming on Buzzing with Marlowe. This was a great chat, guys. Also, guys, if you haven't, like and subscribe to our Facebook page. Buzzing with Marlowe, the real Buzzing with Marlowe, you can get what I tell you the content right now, guys. You get upcoming announcements of our guests. The episodes will also be on there. Also, guys, the audio version of the episodes will be on it. Also, my link tree, those are the main particular links that you can to check out all our episodes. Also, buy our merch. Like I said, guys, for 2 more weeks, we are going to have the promo code BUZZ20, capital B, is UZZ20, and you get 15% off. I'm cutting it off after that 2-week span. But, guys, I appreciate everyone doing this. Have a great weekend. Enjoy it. You have earned it. It is time to go. Also, guys, get your body. Stretch it. Do what you need to do. Instead of sitting on the couch, spend 10 minutes. No more than 10 minutes, guys. Just doing something to just keep giving that longevity. Keep giving you something. Like, find your why and find out what helps you get better, what helps you to keep going, what helps you to get that longevity stand. But guys, like I said, like and subscribe our YouTube page, like and subscribe, follow Spotify, Anchor, and all wherever you get your podcasts. I cannot name all of those, but I do know one particular one, iHeartRadio. That one's a really big one for me. So guys, if you can, follow that one out too. But guys, I'm done rambling. It is the weekend. Y'all enjoy it. And guys, we will be back when we have more buzz down the road. Later.